Hello everyone, this is me, GameSlam9, aka No Brainer, and I am back with another Star Wars Destiny video. This time, I'm going to address a particular deck type and how best to fight them, because lately, people have been talking a lot about Jango, specifically lately with Jango Veers. Uh, this deck is a very solid deck that has been gaining a lot of traction lately, and is being talked about quite widely on a lot of Discord forums and the like, specifically because it's been performing very effectively at... Can I hide this chat? Yeah. Auto hide it, please. No, auto hide it. Yeah, perfect. Specifically, this Jango Veers deck has been getting a lot of talk, a lot of traction lately in a lot of Discord and Reddit and other such forums as a result of winning a lot of local tournaments. And by all means, it is a solid deck. However, I feel like part of the problem might be specifically how you're playing against it. Because, to me, Jango Fett, for those who don't know, Jango Fett's ability is that after an opponent activates a character, you may activate this character. This specifically allows you to, when an opponent activates a character, to activate yours, roll it, and then it's your turn, and the opponent cannot do anything about you claiming absolutely nothing on that because that was a terrible Jango roll. God damn it, Jango, you do not want to be You do not want to be shown up in this video, man. Come on, this is about you. Come on, get it together. But anyway, this allows people to effectively do the same thing Honray does, which is you play a card for an upgrade or whatever, and then you can ignore the basic rules of the game and take effectively two actions at once. You take the activation from Jango, and then you get to resolve his dice. And if he god rolls, God help you. That's why it's called a god roll, because God needs to help you. Jango can easily start producing 9, 11 damage, and there's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. So, what you need to do to play against him is you need to avoid situations where he's allowed to activate his ability. But that's really hard to do because, well, how do you play the game without activating a character? So Jango specifically, in my eyes, is quite a foo strategy, right? You can't win without activating characters. And by a foo strategy, I mean that it's a deck that's very easy to play at a low level. It gets a lot of success at low levels, and it's still very solid at the highest tiers. You got 4 dice here, 2 characters. It's only 19 health though. It's perhaps the lowest health total in the game that hits 30. Jango Veers, however, is a deck that relies very heavily on Jango's ability to do these god rolls. Because without these god rolls, the deck is honestly just decent, right? It's not great, it's just decent. It's solid, it does damage, but it doesn't perform amazingly, right? Without Jango's ability, it's just good. But with Jango's ability, it becomes a great, powerful deck. But there are ways to mitigate Jango's ability by playing smartly, and these are things that you play specifically with Jango. These tips that I'm going to show you don't particularly work very well with other decks, but you need to change your plan when you're playing against Jango, and even very experienced players struggle to remember that you've got to play very differently against a Jango to pretty much any other character in the pool. So I figured I'd do a bit of a demonstration game here. I'm playing my typical Luke Akbar aggro deck, because that's one thing I'll say, right? It's only got 19 health. This deck is actually, in my opinion, very weak to other aggro decks. An aggro deck that absolutely dominates most control, but is actually very weak to other aggro decks because of its incredibly low health pool. And so I'm gonna do a bit of a mock game here for a few turns, playing my Luke Akbar against the General Veers Jango Fett deck. I took this one off of Star Wars Destiny database. Who is the author? Who is the author over here? It was Star Wars Destiny database. The deck was called Aggro Jango 1.0, and it was by a guy named Faustus. So thanks for that. It allows me to just very quickly, Star Wars Destiny database allows me to just very quickly download and start playing with a deck. You can put it straight into your mods folder. It's great. Anyway, with that out of the way, so we're going to do a bit of a mock game here. I'm going to see what this rolls are. If it doesn't come out to what I like, I'm going to fudge the numbers though. Because specifically, I want to show how to play against it when you get the battlefield. So, let's hope this worked. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Okay, re-roll. There we go, I got the battlefield. See, there's a good chance with a Luke, who has the 3 damage and the 2 damage, and an Akbar, who has a 2 side as well, to actually get the battlefield. It's not... Jango's dice is actually very bad at grabbing battlefields. So, it's as good as an Akbar, in fact. But Veers is slightly worse than a Luke, right? But there's 4 dice to 3. Okay, so maybe you can say that I got potentially a bit lucky. It's hard, right? It's hard to say who gets the battlefield first. There's probably exact mathematics behind it, but whatever. The very first tip of all time for aggro decks, specifically fighting against a Jango Veers, is you take your battlefield. Most aggro decks are going to want to take their own battlefield anyway. Most decks in general are going to want to take their own battlefield, but you need this turn 1 against a Jango Veers. So take your own battlefield, give him the shields, alright? Because you want this first turn, because that's very important. So let's draw the 5 cards here. So after drawing hands, I have a Force Training, Force Misdirection, Deflect 1 with the Force, and Dug In, which is a okay hand. Meanwhile, he has the rifle, the jetpack, the blaster pistol, the Dug In, and a probe. That's a very, very powerful, very deadly opening hand for Jango Veers. So, as a Luke Akbar, I'm looking at this. I've got my battlefield. My battlefield allows me to play an upgrade from my hand, decreasing its cost by 1. So I'm going to look to claim that at the end and get Force Training on the field. Because this is very important. You want to be claiming the battle... As an aggro deck, you want to be claiming the battlefield off of the Jango player. You want to be going first. You'll see why in a second here. Alright, so, turn 1, immediately. What's your first action going to be? Now, some people would say you put the Force Training on the Luke here, okay? You get an extra die, you get your whatever. But you do not do that. Your very first action, if you're going first, you've got an aggro deck, is you are going to roll a character. Specifically because Jango's ability works when you roll characters, and it's a May. But he has upgrades that he wants to play. He does not want to roll just a flat-out Jango. Jango's dice are not good just as a flat-out Jango. So, you roll your character right now. So I am rolling Luke, and I am drawing a card. All in, okay. And I am rolling my dice. What do I get? I got 5 damage. Okay, that's a fucking amazing roll. But meanwhile, Jango player, looking at this from this perspective, your Luke player just rolled his dice, okay? You have a jetpack in hand. You have a rifle in hand. You have a blast pistol in hand. You want to get Jango upgraded first. So you do not roll Jango in this situation. You let Luke player have his action. Jango then, on his turn, plays a jetpack. Alright? Now, as the Luke player, you are going to resolve the 5 damage, and you're going to hit the Jango straight in the face. Okay? Jango is the threat of the deck. I said that this deck has 19 health. Now, arguably, well, some people would kill the Veers, right? He put 2 shields on the Jango. It is potentially possible to kill the Veers. Maybe that would have been a better idea to kill the Veers, but I'm killing the Jango here. Generally, if you're rolling 5 damage at the start, maybe you put that into Veers. But generally, you're not going to roll that, and you're going to want to put all your damage into the Jango. Because killing the Jango first, this deck effectively has 10 health. Because once Jango dies, the deck is dead. Okay? So, I resolve the damage. His turn. He doesn't... Now, Jango players are greedy. They don't want to activate their Jango until your opponent activates their character, because then you get to do the whole, Jango rolls, and then Jango can resolve his dice if it's God roll. So he's gonna roll Veers first. Okay. What does he get with the Veers? Rubbish. Good job, Veers. This is typical. Alright, your turn now. What do you want to do? Well, you want to keep... You're going to keep 1 cost for Force Training. You've got to deflect. You want to keep that. Alright, you want to be able to deflect a Jango dice. Alright, even though the talk about mitigation, dice mitigation doesn't work against Jango, you're going to want to use this deflect. So, you're in a situation right now where If you roll your Akbar, he gets to just roll his Jango Fett off of that, and you don't get to do anything. And you don't get to do anything because he's going to get to resolve, right? If he rolls 2 blanks with the Jango, but then gets a +3 on the jetpack, he still has this 1 damage from the Veers. So, if there's no good moves to make, you pass. This is tip number 3. Sorry, this is tip number 3. Specifically for a Jango deck, get used to passing a lot. Because if you pass, that means your opponent has 2 choices. They can either pass themselves. If they pass, the turn ends, and we start again. But the Imperial Armory is still in my possession, so I get to roll my Luke next time. Okay? And we also get the resources and stuff. If I had 4 resources, I could go with 1 with the Force. It'd be incredibly good if he accepts the pass. So they're not going to accept the pass. So instead, they don't want to. At the same time, they don't want to necessarily roll their Jango because they want to wait for your Akbar. So what most players are going to do is they're going to be like, all right, I discard the probe. I'm going to reroll Veers. Alright. Now what do you do here? Well, you can either deflect the 2 damage, which is definitely plausible at this point, or you can be greedy, and you pass again. Alright. He resolves 3 damage into Luke. Alright. What do? You pass. Now, he has a choice. If he claims the battlefield now, you get to roll Akbar unopposed. You would also get to place your Force training, you'd be able to roll that stuff. He doesn't want you to do that, so he's not going to claim. If he passes right now, well, he's still at a disadvantage because you just dealt more damage to him than he did to you. Right? This is a very tricky situation for a Jango player to be in against Luke Akbar, Han Rey, because in Han Rey you just roll the hand first action, against Darth Vader, Tusken Raider, because you just roll the Vader first action. It's very awkward against a lot of really powerful aggro decks that use one very elite character for this action. So what does he do? He's going to roll Jango normally. Alright? And that's the key. He has no other play, really, so he's going to roll Jango normally. The whole goal against a Jango Veers deck is fine. Is a fine deck when Jango doesn't have the ability. So your entire goal is to stop him using his ability. And this is how you do it. You pass a lot. You pass. He just rolled 5. Cool. What do you do here? You deflect. You deflect the 3 damage back into Jango. He takes the 2. Alright? You have mitigated his damage potential. And this is something that Jangos aren't used to. They love to just resolve that 5 damage. If you had rolled the Akbar, he would have been able to resolve that 5 damage. Now that 5 damage has been reduced to 2, and you dealt 2 to him. Okay? Deflect is incredible, by the way. But you have removed his dice, and Jango players rely on the tempo. They rely on the tempo of both having the free action, because otherwise they'd have been able to just take the battlefield this turn, and they rely on being able to throw out those very consistent jetpack rolls. So, he resolves the 2 more damage into Luke. Alright, I could roll Akbar right now, but instead, I'm going to claim. And I'm going to play Force Training for 1. Now your opponent hasn't got anything else they can do. So, start new round. He discards Dug In because he's not going to have the battlefield. By the way, you want to be discarding Dug Ins in defensive positions if you don't get the battlefield, if you're not got a chance of getting the battlefield anytime soon. He's got now some ambush cards. All right, he's got more upgrades, and some of these are really good for action economy. All right, so back onto the Luke player. What's Luke going to do? Well, he's going to discard Force Misdirection, because it's very rare. He's going to roll that 1 range damage to actually stop anything. He's also going to discard the All-In, probably, and he's going to draw 3. Because this is one very good thing. You don't, when you've got an elite aggro deck, you don't have to roll the guy who's not very great. Right? It saves you a lot on action economy. He's going to roll like this. Alright, Force Throw and 1 with the Force, both in there. Both potential to roll them. Alright, your turn first. The Jango player is in a precarious position right now if you just roll Luke. Alright, if you just roll Luke right now, the Jango player is going to be very upset. Because he's going to want to put something else on his Jango. Alternatively, you say, screw everything, I'm going to play one with the Force right now because one with the Force is amazing. So in this situation, I'm going to have Luke just activate. Rolling Luke once more at the very first turn. Get another one with the Force. Talk about it. So, Luke rolls. Again, a good, solid roll from Luke. That's actually lucky, once more. And now the Jango player's like, do I activate Jango here? Jango's not going to get another upgrade on him in time. So I think that player is going to be like, I'm going to respond by rolling Jango. And we're going to see what he gets and see what he does with that. And in this situation, he gets this, which allows him to get rid of the 3 damage die and give him a shield. That's a really, really good roll for the Jango player. Alright, but now Jango's being used up. Now you can play normally, because he's going to have to upgrade the Veers and stuff next turn, right? This is potentially why you went into the Veers instead of the Jango. Yeah. Alright, so let's do 1 damage. It's not unblockable, is it? No, it is not. So 1 damage to the Jango once more, and I'll take the resource. Alright. Opponent's turn. He is going to go and say, I will play the F rifle onto the Veers. So that way he actually gets a turn of rolling the rifle. Alright. It's also redeploy. That's another one why you might not kill Veers, because all of the stuff that's going to be on him. Jetpack's pretty much the only thing in this deck that isn't redeploy, right, in terms of upgrades. So that's another reason why to kill Jango, potentially. So he's going to play that. Alright, you're going to respond now. Your turn. I think I'm going to just... Do I play one with the Force or Force Throw here? Both are powerful cards. And the thing is, you see, I've got Leadership here. It's going to cost 2 to replace the Force Training with the one with the Force. Then I can still Leadership on the Luke, right? Alright, I'm going to get rid of the Force Training. And I'm going to play one with the Force. It's too good a card to mess up at this point. Alright, your opponent's like, okay, fine, whatever, I'm gonna roll Veers at this point. Alright, sure, Veers, roll Veers. Alright, he's got the resources, he's gonna have 6 damage on the board, 5 and 6, that's 11, that's 1 away from Luke dying. You see? This deck can do a lot of damage, but you gotta remember as well, Vader, Tusken, that can just roll 9 damage straight up, right? You've got god rolls of that without even having upgrades. You've got god rolls from Han Solo Rey. You've got a lot of god rolls that don't require you to have upgrades. So to complain about Jango Veers having god rolls, it's just another part of Destiny, right? That's the sort of thing that just happens. Alright, so my next turn, I could dug in, keep myself alive right here. But, you know, at 6 damage, he's probably not going to stop me. Maybe I just play safe. Maybe I just dug in here. Or maybe I go for the leadership play. Hard to say. Dug in would be the safer option by far. Now here's another situation. Alright, turn 2 of my Akbar Luke deck, of my Akbar Double Trooper deck. Alright, Akbar has 2 dice. In this situation, I've taken a ridiculous amount of damage from the Jango Veers turn 1. That's to be expected. The Rebel Trooper managed to Guardian something, and now I'm in a situation. He also won the battlefield. Now I'm in a situation where it's his turn. He's starting. I have, however, a black 1 in my hand, because this is another way to deal with your opponent's Jango. Alright? Black 1. Supports in general are not characters. That is the big thing. It's a support vehicle, not a character. So, Jango's ability cannot activate off of this. And vehicles allow you to provide a lot of pressure onto a deck without Jango being able to do anything. So, in this situation, we'll start with him because he just claimed the battlefield last time, removing a character die. Right? He is going to play a second jetpack onto Jango because you have 3 characters, right? Whoopsie daisy. Because you have 3 characters, he feels he is confident in doing so. Your response? Well, you have been stockpiling resources from the last round. You now have 5. It's time to bring out the black one. Out of curiosity, can Veers work? One of your sport? Nope, okay. So now, his response is to go, say, activating Veers. He doesn't want to activate Jango until you have activated yours. Alright, he rolled fairly poorly. Black One's response, not to go off the battlefield, but instead to roll his dice. Because he is Black One. Rolled the special. Very well. Now he is going to probably, at this point, discard, reroll. Ouch. Is ouch. You see, Akbar here only has 4 health left. He wants to kill Akbar if he can without having to use Jango, because 1 damage dealt to Jango from Black One. Black One special allows him to re-roll the die after dealing 1 damage to a character. Okay, the 1 disrupt, not going to be very useful. Jango Veers, re-roll. Terrible, Veers, terrible. At this point, what's going to happen here? Well, let's play at this point dug in. Let's just play dug in. Give this Akbar 3 shields. Again, does not want to activate his character until Jango does not want to activate until your characters activate. But now he's in a situation where, well, Akbar's a bit healed, he's got a dice on the field that's doing damage to him, and he's not in the best of positions. So, with that +2, he's going to have to roll Jango normally. That's just straight up the best play. What does he get on this? A pretty bad roll. Wow. Okay. I'm sorry for your loss. Alright. Well then, Akbar is going to roll at this point. Just typical Akbar, rolling Akbar. And there is Akbar being Akbar, with the focus to turn that Black One into a 3 damage. At this point, his opponent goes, discard Electroshock to re-roll. He'll keep the +2. It's damage. It's good damage. But he'll roll the rest. Alright, there we go. That's a lot more like it. He has good damage out of those dice. Alright. So now he's thinking to himself, alright, this is going to go great. But now, you can then go squad tactics, activating both rebel troopers, taking 1 damage from this, 2 damage from this. Boom, boom, boom. And rolling. Okay, well done, rebel troopers, well done. But they're a lot worse than stormtroopers apparently. But the point still stands that I was trying to make. If you can force Jango, if you can slow play with vehicles to force Jango to have to activate early, you can then respond to the Jango's dice and mitigate as normal. And against double jetpack, Guardian is so nice, because Guardian allows you to remove the main dice and then there's nothing to activate the modifiers with. At this point, he's probably going to have to either use Unpredictable on this Jango dice or reroll. He's probably going to use the Unpredictable, because it doesn't matter whichever, and he doesn't roll onto his 2 out of 6. His entire turn was basically wasted. Because, well, okay, he dealt damage to the rebel troopers, but his turn was practically wasted. Now at this point, he's probably going to claim the battlefield soon, so good chance at this point to use up the focus to focus that into 3 damage, and probably that into 2. Although maybe you focus there. No, you would focus here, I think. Well, no. No, you wouldn't. Oh, also he took 2 damage from onto Veers because Akbar's effect. Sorry, because he ran out of a hand. No, you wouldn't. Well, okay, I'm focusing that, and I'm doing this. Specifically because these aren't character dice, so he claims the battlefield, and he removes this Rebel Trooper die. It's like, alright. So now you focus, boop, you focus here, do the 2 damage, and you resolve 5 damage into the Jango. 3, 6. No, 6. There you go. 6 damage into the Jango. So now Jango is looking very, very bad for the wear, and jetpacks do not have thingamajigs. And you get a resource because, yay, Akbar. Because these do not have redeploy. Boom. Boom. That's his hand. It's okay. Nothing special. I put the frozen waste in the wrong place because the resource got dumped. Alright, and alright, you discard defensive position, you no longer have the battlefield. Alright, start of the next turn. We have managed to draw a hit and run. After discarding, of course, our defensive position. We managed to draw a hit and run, scout, the launch bay, and the flank. Flank is, of course, a great mitigation card when you have more characters than your opponent. And I really should have cleared this up. By the way, I'm cutting like a lot because I keep going into fits of sneezing. Sorry about that. I've got quite the cold. Bonus tip for playing against a Jango Veers deck: do not record whilst you have a cold. Not a good idea. Alright. And he has managed to draw Logistics, F-10 Rifles, Holdout Blaster, Unpredictable, and the Blaster Rifle. Alright, start of the round. He got the thing. So he is probably going to start with the F-10 Rifle. Boom. Alright, because he's going to try and wait once again for your characters to act. So, you roll black 1. Hope you get the damage, but it doesn't matter if you can't. Okay, you don't get the damage. Cool. He rolls Jango Veers. Alright, he hasn't got the resources for it. It'll take him some turns to activate that stuff. But now, you can do something very evil. You see, hit and run allows you to activate a character and then resolve its dice. Basically, it's a Jango in a card. Alright? Here's another tip for you guys. Tip number 5? Tip number 5, the last tip. Tip number 5. Especially with Honray decks, especially with red decks, disrupt the turn order yourself. Activate the hit and run yourself. Because now he is in a position, a very awkward position. He gets to look at what you rolled beforehand. He looked at you and realized you didn't roll damage, so he might not even go for this path. But he is in an awkward position now where he can activate off of what you just did. But if he does so, you get a chance to mitigate his dice again. In this situation, because he's on 8 health, he's probably going to activate. Especially since he got that +2, right? Whoops. That was that. There you go. Oh my god, that is a decent roll. Okay, decent, not great. Alright, 2, 4, 6, 7 damage he's going to be able to throw out, right? But that's where you're wrong. Because that didn't take up your action. You don't have to resolve the die. Because you instead can go Rebel Trooper, take the 1 damage, boom, roll the Trooper. You see, now that's why he's in an awkward position, because you can just mitigate. He has nothing to activate his stuff off of here. He claims the resource. You claim the disrupt from black 1. Go away, resource. Now he's stuck. Right? He probably wouldn't have claimed the resource in the first place. It was just re-rolled because, you know, that makes sense. But now he's got a lot of problems, and you don't. Because actually, you would have actually killed Jango rather than disrupting. He's dead. Jango is dead, guys. So let's not do that. That play did not happen because that was me misplaying on his part. Instead, what he did is he played Unpredictable to try and roll this into damage. He did not roll into damage. It's his turn. claims both the resources. And then he dies to the 2 damage. Boom. Jetpacks are gone. Veers is alone with 7 health. This is basically over at this point, because you have way too much for him to deal with. And that is another way to deal with the Jango Veers. Just have a lot more health and then have supports and be able to slow play and force the Jango player to have to play the Jango normally. If you can force him to be normal, then you've got a really good chance of winning these games. That's what I keep saying. Force him to play by the rules, because we do not like rule breakers. But finally, before I leave, I understand that some people are still going to be like, Gameslayer, those are some nice tips to help me play well against a Jango player. But that's not everything. The Jango deck is still very solid, and basically everyone and my mother is currently playing Jango. And I need a deck that just wins against Jango Veers. Alright? I just need a deck that wins. Well, if you're not having enough success with my other decks that I've got, I highly recommend this deck. This is Diz's Rainbow Artillery deck. It is a 4-character villain deck. Balatik, Night Sister, and the 2 First Order Stormtroopers. A very high health total, and it involves endless ranks for even more health. And what makes this deck so special is that the deck, after turn 2, the deck doesn't need to roll its characters. It uses vehicles, First Order Fighter, ATST, only 1 speeder bite, see how only 1 power of the dark side, but uses Drudge Work, Black Market, Underworld Connections. Most of the cards in this deck, well, all of these at any rate, are support cards. All of these are support. I can't say support very well, apparently. But all these cards are support. And then with best defense, and he doesn't like you, and flank, you have, and cannon fodder, of course, you have access to some really good removal of his dice. This deck should be able to fight Veers Jango and win perhaps even as much as 90% of the time. So if everyone in your local is playing Jango Veers, I highly recommend this deck. This deck is solid on its own. It's a very slow deck. There are 2 ways, in fact, in Star Wars Destiny to play. You can either play very fast to claim a battlefield, or you can play so slowly that it doesn't matter what your opponent does, because you're going to be able to get your optimal situations. You're going to get those First Order TIE Fighters and ATSTs, and you're not going to give a damn about action economy. Your opponent is speeding through things, you don't care. It'll be 20, 30 turns before you actually 30 rounds before you actually finish your turn, but it's going to be amazing because he is going to be so dead by the end of it. And what's more, he's going to be frustrated, man. People find it very frustrating to play against Jango Veers. So give them a taste of their own medicine with Diz's Rainbow Artillery deck. Put it down in the link in the description. It's on StarWarsDatabase.com. Hopefully the site isn't down, because the site tends to die if more than like 5 people are on it at a time. But this is the deck, and it is great, and I highly recommend it. It only costs... It has power of the a single power of the dark side, right? It's a starter. It's not hard to get most of these cards. Just really the ATST, the 2 ATSTs are the only legendaries in this deck. I highly recommend it. So try it out, bring this deck down to your locals, if you are doing locals, or bring it to Tabletop Simulator if you're playing Tabletop Simulator, or whatever. I don't really... It's not for me to decide how you live your life, but bring it down anyway, and then start beating all those people who are all like, haha, I'm good at this game because I can roll damage on Jango and Veers. It's so easy and simple to play. It's so fun. Yeah, crush them. Destroy their spirits. You are the elite. This has been me, Gameslayer99, aka No Brainer. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any more tips, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Any other deck suggestions, go ahead. If you guys want me to look at figuring out how to deal with other decks, by all means suggest them. Probably won't be able to go that much in depth. The Jango is a very special case, but you never know. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. My actual sign-off is saying signing off. So see you next time, signing off. There we go, that feels so much better. And now bonus, this is how the rest of that game with my Luke Akbar went. Whoops. Not the best example in the world. Bye. Problem is though, you might potentially lose the Luke on the next turn, so leadership becomes worthless. So let's... Let's leadership. Let's leadership the Luke. This is why I took the extra resource, but that's also why I was potentially thinking force throw rather than one with force, so I'd be able to do both of these, right? So leadership the Luke, alright? Opponent's like, alright, I am going to... At this point, he's probably going to want to go for a quick kill, so he's going to take one resource. Because he's going to next turn go unpredictable on this die and hope it rolls into range damage. And if it rolls into range damage, Luke is dead. Alright. Luke is going to roll. Now, when a character activates from leadership, they also re-roll the die inside the pool. So, bam. 2 focuses. Bit slow. Alright. His response, unpredictable. Roll the Jango die. 1 melee. Okay, Luke is scary. Right now, he has the damage output. He's going to resolve the 6 damage into Luke. Luke is at 1 HP at this point. So Luke is definitely going to take the shield to survive. Jango is going to resolve. Alright. Now, your turn. What do you do here? He's going to potentially claim the battlefield next turn. He's out of options. You can either go for the 3 damage right now, put him down to 8 from the one with the force, or you just take the battlefield once more. In this instance, because yeah, leadership was clearly the wrong choice. Clearly should have gone dug in. Because if I didn't still have dug in my hand, I'd be perfectly happy with letting the Imperial Armory go through. With losing the Imperial Armory at this point. This instance, I'll claim the Imperial Armory. And he's going to pass. Next turn begins. Just remember though, this was the best roll. This was some of the best cards he could have ever had. Oh no, that's a bad hand. Alright. Start of the next round. Alright, round 3. At this point, if you activate Luke, Jango's going to probably kill you. Arm to the teeth. He can absolutely kill you. So. That's another reason, by the way. Arm to the teeth, that's another reason why you kill the Jango. So, dug in. Costs 1, gives you the 3 shields. Bit of a safer option. His response. He's going to play the Blaster Pistol onto Jango. Why only the Blaster Pistol? Because Electroshock. He needs the resources for a potential Electroshock. It'll save him with 2 life. It'll keep himself at 2 more life. That's another reason, yet again, it's spot a yellow character. You kill the Jango, he can't use it. Right. Your turn. Such a bad hand. Wow. Alright. I'm gonna roll the Luke. Gonna draw another card. It was the force training. Okay. Three focus. Okay. Jango is gonna roll in response. I said roll in response. Alright, he rolled nothing. Sometimes a Jango pretty much rolls nothing. That has to happen. And it's now Jango's turn. What is he going to do? He's going to discard, probably, to re-roll. Or he's going to... No, he'll probably just roll the Veers. Try and get some range damage from that. In this case, he got it. He has 6 range damage on the field. Holy shit. Okay. This isn't the best in the world. Alright, the netbar, just roll your die, I guess. And then Luke dies. One with force becomes a support. As he resolves the 4 range damage. Alright. Eyeballs turn. Eyeballs really got nothing. Like, I did not expect to get this hand. My entire plan of showing that this deck is only average when you actually play against it has kind of died, considering just how well he is drawn and how poorly I have. Discard, reroll. Triple disrupt. Okay, his response. Discard, reroll all this. God damn, man. Another 6 damage. Ugh, ugh. Discard, reroll. Resolve. 5 damage. Discard. Well, no. Claim the resource. Resolve the 1 melee. Discard. He claims the battlefield. He has no resources left, so he doesn't do anything with it. Claim the 2 resources, I guess. Play lightsaber. Roll 1 with the force again, because you can do that. 3 range damage into Jango. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping to just get 2 sets of range damage, and then Jango's dead, and then Veers versus Akbar. Akbar's got a good chance of winning. Alright, start of the next round, I guess. What is this deck? Alright, he's gonna start by hold out blaster into roll Veers. Nothing. Good. I desperately needed that. Alright, my turn. Force training. Force training, I said. There we go. Alright, his turn. Rolling Jango. No, he doesn't roll Jango because he's waiting for your character to activate. Instead, he's going to discard. He's going to discard probably electroshock at this point to just reroll this. Okay, he's going to have 4 damage for the next in a few turns. That's a kill. All right, your turn. 1 with the force. Roll. 3 damage. That's the thing, right? Another tip: supports don't count as characters. A vehicle-heavy deck, or a support-heavy deck in general, is very good against a Jango player, because you tend to not need to roll the characters. Okay. Alright, he claims the resource. I'm dead next turn unless I stop it. I don't think I can stop it in any way whatsoever. So, kill Jango. Jango is now dead. And Veers kills me, and I'm now dead. So, let's remove 3 damage to assume that I didn't get super ridiculously unlucky with my card draw and shit. And then he deals 4. Seriously, I've got a lot of cards in here that are decent. Yeah. Trust me, guys. Trust me. Now, this is his turn used. He's got nothing left, but I only have 2 health, right? At this point, I can roll my Akbar out. I played force training, so I actually need to spend the resources for it. Sorry. Not a good roll. He has nothing left, but he does have unpredictable, so he's not going to claim straight away. He's going to discard Arm to the Teeth, see if he can get something out of that card. He got 2 damage again. What is this, Viz? Why are you rolling 2 damage all the goddamn time? That's... Ah, my god. This is... No. No. I'm supposed to be showing off that I'm good at this game. And I'm not rolling well, and he's rolling well, and... Alright, assume it was 1 damage instead. 1 life left. Viz is a good deck, guys. Alright, focus. What am I doing here? Am I doing 3 and 2 for 5 damage? Or am I doing specials? No, I'm doing 3 and 2. Cool. Viz at this point, actually he'll unpredictable me. God damn it. Then he'll claim the battlefield. Alright, cool. It binds all things, go away. Force misdirection, go away. Use the force, go away. God damn it. Alright, start of the next round, guys. Oh, here you guys go. Here's all of my mitigation. By the way, I had to use the force just as my character died. I have defense positions, my dug-ins, and there's a leadership. Alright, start of the next round. Please, Viz, don't just kill me instantly. This is a terrible, terrible demonstration. No, Viz, you actually do just kill me. Okay. Okay.